Greetings and welcome back to Room 303 and our chats with Emily as we are calling our readings through the poetry of Emily Dickinson. We are in the Johnson edition and we turn out a poem 739. I many times thought peace had come. Now she'll reference peace or peaceful in 24 of her poems. The scholar Priest has pointed out that there may be a reason specifically for her referencing this powerful metaphor or simile of being stranded in the middle of the ocean begging for land. Just to remind, Emily didn't ever, to our knowledge, go out into the middle of the sea on a boat. Priest says it this way, though. In one powerful metaphor, Emily describes an experience which all men go through for different reasons. She had occasion to use line 4 of herself in the year after this poem, because in September of 1864, towards the end of a miserable summer spent in Boston with her cousins having eye treatment, she begins letter number 294 to Sue with "at center of the sea" as a kind of heading to the letter before saying, quote, "It would be best to see you, it would be good to see the grass and hear the wind blow the wide way in the orchard." Now, our assumption is that you've been following our stuff at learnstrong.net. Down that left-hand side, Chats with Emily's our playlist. I'm hopeful you've worked through our set of introductory comments as well as the preceding 738 poems. We just finished with 738. You said that I was great. And it's interesting to compare that poem, 738, with this poem in that Emily, in many of her poems, does seem to be seeking some kind of resolution to conflict, or dare we call it conflict resolution and peace. And in this profound simile, or some have called it a metaphor, it is significant, I think, that Emily is longing. This is another one, what we call those longing poems, wishing for something that in the end is fictitious, will be her word. She says it this way: "I many times thought peace had come when peace was far away. As wrecked men deem they sight the land at center of the sea, and struggle slacker, but to prove as hopelessly as I, how many the fictitious shores before the harbor be." By the way, hear all those S sounds trying to simulate maybe the sound of the waves of the sea. I am focusing now on that word many. I many times thought peace had come. In other words, I thought there was resolution. I thought finally I would get there. This has always been one of our, well, we call our series Chats with Emily for a reason. Always one of our questions, if we could sit down and speak with Emily, how much of your life was turbulent versus peaceful? How often were you able to somehow touch or contact stillness and mindfulness, and you were in that writer's zone as opposed to not so much? Here she says, I thought that peace had come when peace was actually far away. In other words, I misunderstood. I thought I had arrived, and then all of a sudden, and then she'll use the simile as wrecked men deem they sight the land. They think they see something at center of the sea. They ain't no land because they're stuck out in the middle of nowhere. And notice all the S sounds after C. Struggle, slacker, but to prove as helplessly as I. This hopelessly as I mean, she says, I know what hopeless is. Many of you are reading these poems and saying, there are ways Emily's connecting with me because I understand this. I thought I was out. I'm right back. I thought I had peace, and now I feel kind of hopeless. How many, she says, the fictitious shores before the harbor be. 8 times in her poems she mentions this word fictitious. And of course, the fact that she capitalizes shores and harbor suggests that she is speaking in metaphor. In other words, before I can get there, Frost, what does he say? I have miles to go before I sleep, and miles to go before I sleep. At 2A, I think the point she's making here is that this is the heart of the artistic struggle. One thinks they have finally come to something close or akin to peace, and then all of a sudden, it's fictitious, it's gone. At 2B, I love all the S sounds here. At 3A, I've mentioned a number of different writers, but just think about our study of T.S. Eliot's Dry Salvages. Go back to learnstrong.net and see our conversation there. I have said already to you that I think Emily was very influential on T.S. Eliot's work, and Dry Salvages and a poem like this come to mind immediately. And obviously you can go back to her contemporary Whitman, who has written a number of poems. I mean, even Think, O Captain, My Captain is about a ship finally coming in to the shore. We've given full lectures on all of the poems of Leaves of Grass at learnstrong.net. Finally, at 3B, to try and connect to a poem like this, when was the time that you struggled to find peace? and maybe you figured out all of a sudden it was fictitious and you had to keep going. Thank you.